Here's a really cool VA loan hack, except unlike other hacks, it's not fraud. And technically, it's not even really a hack because it's just the rule. VA allows sellers to pay all the buyer's closing costs and up to 4% of what they call concessions. And yes, there is a difference between closing costs and concessions. If you're not sure about it, let me know and I can explain it. So this first time buyer negotiated a deal where the seller was paying for all of his closing costs. Because this qualified for our CARES incentive, we waived our lender fees, which meant the actual closing costs were less than what the seller was agreeing to pay. So we had excess money from the seller and we had to figure out where we're going to use those funds. Now we used part of it to buy down the interest rate. So this buyer got a below market interest rate. But there was still about $600 left that was unused. If we didn't find a way to use it, that money would go back to the seller. How can we use that money? Watch this. I emailed him and said, can you send me a copy of your last monthly credit card statement? On that credit card, he owed about $600. Once I got that statement, I sent it to the closing attorney. They added that as a payoff on the closing disclosure. And believe it or not, at closing, the seller paid off that buyer's credit card balance. The reason that was allowed to happen is because VA allows for 4% seller concessions. One of the concessions they include is paying off a veteran's debts. So this is a first-time home buyer that got a great deal on a house, didn't have any down payment, actually got his deposit and the appraisal fee refunded at closing, got a below market interest rate, and the seller paid off one of his credit cards. Tell me that's not an awesome way for a first-time homebuyer to get into their first house.